Microphone is on. Interesting video just popped up on my recommended. How to try how to transform any land into a lush garden. Shout out Grow Veg on YouTube. One of my favorite gardening channels that I subscribe to. They're really good. Holy moly, happy Saturday, happy weekend. Oh, I need my rag. Never don't play with a rag. You always gotta have something, otherwise you're gross. Okay. Hope y'all are doing well. I am tired. I tell you what. And I don't know if I even want to have 2 hours as my goal today, if I'm being real. In fact, I think I'm going to, just because we've been doing so well. I think we can deal with an hour and a half. Not really a quote-unquote cheat day. Yo, Suki, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Happy weekend, friend. Oh, man. All right. Let's get to practicing. What do y'all think? Got any votes for scales? We got to start with some scales. We did Phrygians yesterday. So I would just say Phrygians probably off the table today, but we've got majors, minors, natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor. You have Dorians. We just did Phrygians. We got Lydians, Mixolydians, the Aeolian is natural minor, and then Locrian, which is not a fun one. And that one's probably going to take a while for me to like puzzle through, but yo, H926, I'm so glad you're here. What's up, buddy? How are you, friend? Happy weekend. Happy weekend to everyone, to all of you. Hope it's going well. Let's see. I don't know. I feel like we haven't done... Because yesterday we did Phrygians, we have done Dorians recently, we've done... I think Lydians and Mixolydians recently. No, maybe we just did Mixolydians. I don't think we did 4s. We did 5s, we didn't do 4s. Let's do 4s. 4s, then, the scale for a 4 has a raised 4th. It's major with a raised 4th. I got a keyboard, an acoustic guitar, and music stand, and the automaton. You got the stuff, dude! Holy cow, that's so cool! Congratulations! How's the automaton coming along? Have you recorded a viral, cover of Toto's Africa yet? Or other some such? Sharp 4. So C has an F sharp. Weird. Oh, no drum set. I got you. Hey, I mean, honestly, that's what, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5? That's not a bad haul there, friend. B natural. Instead of F sharps, it's going to have E sharps. also a really weird sounding scale because I think it wants to be finished in the middle on scale degree 5 of, yeah, because C sounds like it wants to end on a G, so that's like crazy. It's been hard because the Australian attacking all the anti-Semitic stuff. Well, not to get too far into politics, I don't know that I've heard much of follow up from the Bondi Beach attack, right? Anything like that, but I can't say that we've got it much better over here in the States, but commiserations, friend. It's kinda, we're all in this together. B flat. B flat is gonna have E naturals. A has D sharp. A includes D sharp now. Yes. No, they didn't do anything to say what happened. That's okay. I mean, like I say, politics, real world stuff is not something I really want to like dive into, other than just like, I know for a lot of people it's really hard right now. We're definitely feeling, in general, many of the same sorts of things over here, and it's not fun. But that's about as much real world stuff. Let's forget about the real world for a minute and play some music. A flat has, we just had D sharps, so now we have D naturals because it's an E flat scale. So A flat has D natural. Hold on. That's right. No apologies necessary, friend. It is life at the end of the day, and you can only ignore, so much of life, even in your escapist sort of spaces. But, just don't want to dwell as much as possible. Because otherwise I will, it's the same reason why I don't do, like, we talked about social media the other day. Like, the only thing I really do these days is scroll on Reddit every now and again. And when I find myself on r/all and getting, flooded with all kinds of shit, and I feel myself actually becoming anxious and depressed and worked up, and like, really, it's just, I got to get away from that kind of thing, so that's the thing, because otherwise I will dwell, I will spiral, I will doom scroll or whatever, and I just not trying to have that mindset for practice is all. We'll deal with that after practice, but like during practice time, we're just sort of using it as a sanctuary time as much as possible. That was A flats. So now G has F and C sharp because it should be a D. Yes. G has F and C sharps. Woo! Hello, Johann Charles. Welcome, friend. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're doing well. And I hope these Mixolydians, either Lydians or Mixolydians, I forget which one we're doing. Now that I have to think about it. We're going through some scales. We're going to go through some flexibility exercises, natural horn stuff, lip trills, which we're pretty close. Honestly, the last few days we've had brief pops of lip trills. I kind of think it's going to be any day, and we're going to have a good base to work from. And the low register has been working really well today. I didn't want to bring it up too early or bury the lead, but when I was warming up, I have hit officially the lowest note I've ever played, which is the C below pedal. So it's this note an octave down. Wow. Super, super low. I can't get it now, but before stream, I was actually like getting them on occasion, and the D's, the D flats just above it, are actually speaking and being sustained today. So, for whatever reason, my low stuff was feeling pretty good today. F sharp, Lydian, F sharp Lydian, because we're doing. It's got a raised fourth. That's what it is. So F sharp has a double sharp. B sharp. B sharp. Whew. That's some low shit. F we know because F is scale degree 4 of C. So F is the good one. It's the all natural. E has A sharp. No. Yes, it is in fact A sharp. So that's E had A sharps. E flat has A naturals. E flat has A naturals. D is nuts. I got all of you in chat. So we just had A natural, so we're gonna have G sharps from a D. D is gonna have G sharps. So that's D. Then we'll have D flat, which has G flat. No. We just had G sharps. It's just going to be G naturals. D flat has G naturals. Very important because it's the A flat scale key. That's easy to remember because D flat Lydian has B, A, and D flat in the key signature. For flats that works. For sharps I need to think about it a little bit. D flat down low, it's speaking. It's not loud, but it is there, and I can hold it. That's like, this is a new era. We're kind of getting somewhere. Back to C, which has a B flat. No, which has F sharp. Cool. We've done Lydian scales. We're going through the modes slowly but surely. And one thing that I want to kind of do, normally we go into flexibility exercises right here, but I'm going to take a minute to do what's a glissando / slide exercise, especially down low. And the reason for that is because I kind of figured out how to do them. It's really good for training your embouchure because if your embouchure is right, you can manipulate and bend the pitches one way or the other. Usually down in this case, not usually, just literally down in this case. And so what it ends up being is something like this. So you're sort of arpeggioing down to the lows, but instead of centering on each pitch, you slide down to it. Hence they're called slides or glissandos. So you gliss down to them, and it's sort of, you go, and it's trying to bend the pitch there, which really strengthens your bottom lip and your support, especially going down low. And between the what's the G and the C there, that's very, very difficult for me to get because that's like, I think, right in my break range. But what has helped me get really super low is by going to the pedals and bending that down a fifth. And I've actually been able to do that today, where I don't think I was able to even yesterday. So that's like... And that's all just being done inside my embouchure here, is bending that pitch down, which is like, oh, it's fun, and it's helpful, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's helping me out, strengthening muscles that I should have strengthened at a different point. I don't know. It's weird. And that's that one, doing it on a G, from G, a fifth down, fourth down. So it's a fourth down. So it's not exactly it's going down to a D instead of a C. But and it sort of spoke there for a half a second. Anyways, that's just extending the range ever so slightly downwards as we continue to work on embouchure stuff. Elliot Nugent! What's up, friend? Good to see ya. Happy weekend. How's it going? Playing Mario Kart? Which one? The new one? World? I've heard very mixed things on it. The chaos is either you love it or you hate it. I've never been a Mario Kart fan, or not. I'm a fan enough casually, but like I never really got into it enough to be like good. Story of my life for like a lot of things actually, but we don't have to get into that. Okay. 88. That new one, hell yes, dude. Dude, have you heard about you just got a Switch 2 yesterday, dude? Congratulations. I still have not gotten myself one. Dang. There's a bit of a delay. My audio is screwing up. Dang, so I can't use that click. Anyways, okay, just dropped my tuner into my horn there. That's fun. Have you heard about the new Kirby racing game? The Air Ride for Switch. It looks like it's Mario Kart, but like also really different in an interesting way. They've done a few directs on it. If you're a fan, it might be worth checking out. There's a gift. Love that. And got Assassin's Creed Shadows, dude. That's so fucking hype, dude. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game. I've heard really good things. Kirby Air Riders, yeah, they're coming out with a new one, or maybe they've already come out with a new one, I think. But it's I remember I looked at the Nintendo Directs for them a couple months back, I think, and they looked really interesting. Not really my thing, because again, I'm not really like a Mario Kart racing game kind of person, but it looked like a lot of fun. A lot of different ways to customize your character in your kart, and stuff that Mario Kart doesn't necessarily do. Kirby Air Riders was going, so it's not the same. Looked really interesting. If you're a fan of the genre. Oh, excuse me. You know what? Let's drop it down a little bit. We're not a hero today. Oh my god. Holy cow. I'm going to record my first finisher and blindly send it into a group chat without saying anything, and don't mention it ever. Are you now? Your first... When you say first finisher, my thought initially went to, like, Mortal Kombat. I'm assuming maybe that's not what you mean. I don't know. Finisher. That low range is not even it's tricky. It was working before stream, I guarantee it. I've sort of forgotten how my embouchure won't even acknowledge the video, pretend you never sent it. So you're just gaslighting an entire group chat for as a joke? Honestly, I can dig it. Yo, paint animation. How are you, friend? Happy weekend. Welcome. How are things? Weekend before Christmas, even, for those who celebrate. And Hanukkah ongoing. 'Tis the season indeed. If only. So bad at Mario Kart World? I think but isn't it impossible to be good at Mario Kart World just because there's so much chaos and randomness built in? Like more so than normal Mario Karts? I feel like that was the big complaint I heard about the game at launch was like people were just like, this is too much. Especially the super battle royale style where they funnel you in, and it's just like no matter how good you are, you're just like there's not much you can do to influence other than just like get lucky. But again, I've never played it myself. Haven't really watched any content of it either. I opened the Switch 2 box and it was bigger than my phone. I would hope so. Bigger than your phone? Yeah. I mean, normal size phone, I would imagine, right? Unless I'm misunderstanding you, which is always perfectly valid explanation. That was pretty cool. That's from Bagatelle, the scales down to the low G. Woo-hoo. They added so much new stuff, and I had to relearn the controls because last time I played Mario Kart was like 2018. Holy cow! Yeah, that's not even Rust. That's like Rust and then new shit on top of it. That's crazy. I think honestly, it might be the same for me. I think I played last in like 2017, 2018, but then I haven't played anything since then. Switch 1 is slightly bigger than my phone. Switch 2 is like 2 or 3 of my phones. Switch 1 is slightly bigger than your phone? Are you serious? Do you have the what is it? The one with the fixed Joy-Cons on the side where they don't come off? Cause or are you talking about just like the screen bit? Cause yeah, the screen's probably just like without the Joy-Cons. I'm thinking of it with the Joy-Cons, I think. Fair play. It is. It was me misunderstanding. Hell yeah. I'm gonna skip the Switch 2. Honestly, Pain Animation, I might be right there with you. For a number of reasons, but also like I would want it, but I don't think I have the time to play the games that I would want to play to justify the purchase. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I would get it and it would just sit like my Steam library, just tons of unused and unplayed games. So it's like it would be really cool, and I would like to play some of the games that are out for it, or that are going to be coming out for it and all that. But like, I just don't think I can justify it at the moment. And also, I don't know about Nintendo as a whole. It's kind of a that's the other thing. You know, many reasons is also I'm just kind of becoming disillusioned with Nintendo. Being a longtime Pokemon fan, it's easy to see where one could get jaded on Nintendo as a company. Overall, being a massive Pokemon fan over the years, but in any event, yes, we know, Elliot. We're all very jealous of you. Speaking of, I find the argument that the game prices are too high to be a weird argument. Why is that? I am interested in your take, but I would ask you to show your work. I'm leaning forward. My posture is horrible. Okay, that was weird. I wanted it just for Legends ZA in the next Kirby game. Legends would have been one for me, but like I also just got weirded out by like the ranked requirements in order to get the Megastones. Like you have to pay for Nintendo Online in order to unlock content, and then there's DLC included day one, which is just like it feels scummy to me, you know. But ZA would have been the one that I would have gotten it for. Issue isn't the pricing, but the quality does not match the price. Think about it. If it was so good, you would play it daily for, say, 20 years. Hold on. I might challenge your underlying assumptions. 20 years? You're saying you're going to play it daily for 20 years? Average of an hour each day? But think about it. No game could last you 21 years. No game is that's what I'm saying. Like, and I agree. So you're saying, just so that we're on the same page here, you're saying that you think the argument that games are too high is weird because of the time per value. You're saying that you get so many hours of enjoyment out of it when you break it down cost per hour, for example. It ends up being worth. And you know, I subscribe to that to an extent. Because as a Pokemon fan, I will say I had a really good time with Pokemon Sword, for example. I didn't engage with the main story until I had already like cleared out all the areas of the raids. You know, I just did raid bosses and wonder trades and all this kind of stuff. And I didn't even engage with the main story, and that was the most fun I had ever had with it. I got like 50 hours before I completed, like went on to the main game, sort of thing. And in that, by that metric, it's, you know, I definitely got my money's worth. But when you have quality that should be something, you know, for Pokemon, for example, and you've got all the crazy bugs and it doesn't work and it's still 60, 70, 80 bucks and there's day one DLC and you have to have an online subscription in order to, it's just like, how many ways are they going to nickel and dime you before people say, the games are kind of shit also, you know? But so I don't think the quality is high enough to cost that much. But if they were good enough, I would pay it. I get that. And that's why I find myself going for more indie games. Just as a general rule. The Binding of Isaac, I've got like 500 and 600 hours of that. Megabonk, replayable sort of roguelike games. I've got over 100 hours in. I've got Dead Cells, many hundreds of hours in that. Like, something that you can replay that's intended to be replayed like that. Those are the ones that I tend to go for, and they're all like 15, 20 bucks. So when you break it down cost per hour, that's like good quality most of the time, for the good ones. And not that expensive. So roguelikes in game like Mario Kart and Smash have even close to that much replayability. Agreed. And even then, you're only replaying until they release the new one. So at 20 years, sure, but granted, people are still playing Smash 64 and Brawl and Melee and all that. But, like, you get my point. The vast majority of people move on to the next one. But what's up, Red? How you doing, friend? It's been a minute. Have we talked about your concert and your new instrument and everything? I feel like you said you crushed your concert. I feel like I remember that. How are you, buddy? You underestimate my potential for enjoyments of specific games. I don't know that I do, because I do the same. My favorite games from the Super Nintendo generation, for example, I will still replay my favorite RPGs, even though I've beaten them dozens of times at this point. Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2, Final Fantasy 5, probably, to a lesser extent. But like, I love my comfort games so much. So I do feel that. But there is something as well for a game that is intended to be replayed and not just like the replaying it for the sake of it, imposing certain rules on yourself, like doing Nuzlocke or challenge Pokemon runs or something like that, Yeah, something that I would play daily for years. I mean, yeah. If you can, then absolutely, you're getting your money's worth. And that's the other thing, is that it's all, the value of something, the utility that you get from something is purely personal, right? Like, you may very well have a different value proposition for a game at a price than I would. And that's perfectly fine. There is no one size fits all for anything, but how it is for you, you have a good understanding and a logical rationale for why you feel the way that you do. And that's beautiful. That is the diversity that is the spice of life, the brilliance of community, the glory of the human experience. Whatever, I don't know. You've got 60 hours on one save file of Hollow Knight and still don't have 112%. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's not. Because there's a lot of content in Hollow Knight, so like, I bet you I could have 100 hours in one save file and still not have 110, 112%. I might not even have 100%. In fact, I would bet against it. I'm not very good at games, guys. I do like them when I have the time, which is much fewer and farther between than it used to be. All right, we're at 41 minutes. 41 minutes. We're a little bit late on it. Oh, but here come the lip trills. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, excuse me. Almost. Speaking of, I kind of want to do game dev. Dude, that's so cool. Have you done any projects or learned any coding or scripting languages? I remember back in 2000 and I believe 17, maybe 18. I had the same thought and I started to learn Unity. And I actually made a little version of Pong it was actually pretty cool because the ball would speed up uncapped every time it was hit, so it wasn't just like a bop, 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 but it would increasingly get faster and faster as the point went on. So that was kind of a fun little twist on Pong. But you should definitely, if you haven't, you should. Only so much of Hollow Knight is actually counted for a percentage. Okay, I see what you mean. So there's wait, so you could do 112%, but there are still technically things that are not done that don't count for percent that you could like skip? That seems interesting. You have done one. What have you done? Paint animation. What was your It's questionable, but they're all I also, so in addition to my Pong, I made a little skeleton of a platformer called Coffee Run, where you play as a little coffee cup and you're running around trying to do, and there's little donuts that you collect, and then the enemies are like a little finger gun that shoots off little fireballs at you. It had like one level that took 8 seconds probably to play, but it was a lot of fun. It was very gratifying to learn all the different things. Having a finger gun that rotates at you, shoots a projectile at you, and like does damage to you when it collides. Like that was a lot of things to learn. That was a lot of fun to do. Bread was playing duets. That's right. You mentioned duets. I think the last time you were here, you had a bunch of them that you were doing, right? That does ring a bell. It's a Game Boy game. It's relatively simple with questionable design and silly bugs, but that's the beauty of it. That's awesome, dude. That's like that's the joy. That's the inherent, like, that's you. That's one of one. That's fun, you know? Took me 2 years. Holy shit. So is this a fully fleshed out, like, completed sort of project? That's really cool, dude. I would love to if you have any like resources or gameplay or like videos or something. I am intrigued. You got a game link? Dude, share it. Are you in my Discord? Share it in my Discord. I would love to see it. I would love to play. We're talking about a game that Paint Animation designed and coded and built and like did, which is definitely cause for celebration. Relatively simple Game Boy game with questionable game design and silly bugs is how they describe it. So, which sounds, you know, delightful. My goodness. There's a server limit? I have a limit on my server? What? Well, I apologize for that. Yeah, whisper me on Twitch. For sure. That's really dumb. I didn't realize that was a thing. You can join... Members up to 250,000 for a single server, it says. What? There shouldn't be. There should not be a server limit anywhere close to... Oh, unless it's, for the file. Oh, because you have joined. I see. I thought it was... I was misunderstanding. I gotcha. Sorry, I have got practice brain. Oh, goodness. All right, get out of here. Lip trills. Thank you, Freudis, for your exercises and guidance. Let's play some fun shit, huh? How's about... Do we dare do some Neulink? We kind of worked this out a little yesterday. It is such a weird rhythm, and I'm not doing it right. I know I'm not doing it right. Follow Living on Twitch too? Holy cow, dude. I didn't even realize these things existed. You're just out here living life to the cap, my guy. I respect that. 2,000? 2K is the follow limit? Holy moly. That's wild. 2,000. Miss Puffles. Welcome. Good to see you. Unless you're also paint animation. In which case, welcome to Twitch. Let's see. Cool. Whew. That's a hell of a piece. Oh, you are paint. I gotcha. Love that. I'm gonna try to remember that, but it's paint and puffles. Paint and puffles. Paint and puffles. The game has a manual. You got a PDF like instruction manual on it too? Dude, this is like a professional like project. Holy cow. You really went all out. I'd say you might just have a future. Hey, I appreciate the follow. You might just have a future in game dev, especially being this motivated and this inspired and creative and self-learning and all this kind of stuff. You gotta, I think that's kind of what you need. I should see it before you call it professional. Fair. That's valid. All right. One, two, three, and a university. One and done. Give me a dang click. Ah! The rhythm is killing me. Let's just say it has more than one reason. I didn't charge anything for it. I gotcha. And if we're talking just about a maiden voyage, your very first endeavor, your first foray, it exists. That's more than I've ever done. That's more than 95, 97, 98% of people in the world have ever done. That's no small feat. Sincerely. 1, 2, 3, and a university. Da 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 da. And a da 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 da. And a da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. and a 2e and a 1e and a 2e and a 1 da 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 da. 1 2 da 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 da. I was almost there. Yo, Minute! I'm doing quite well, friend. How are you? Happy weekend! Happy Saturday evening for my friend in France. I might be starting to pick it up. Game dev's real. Oof. So it's a miracle any games get out at all. I could see that, especially because it is as much a creative process as anything else, right? Like, if I have had so many creative projects that I just like move on to the next one when I get bored or hit a creative block or something. Like, imagine how many games you have a block, a creative block. Not to mention the technical aspect of it. Like, if you don't have the technical bit to it, like it's really, you got to have wear a lot of hats or else collaborate with a lot of people, which is also good. But it's just it's a monumental undertaking. Okay, all right. The intro kind of is maybe coming along. It kind of sucks that it's taken us 2 days to get the opening 2 phrases done. They're like, sort of. It's more scripting than coding, though, because of great engine. Gotcha. And that's on. I'm using the terms interchangeably, even though I know that's not strictly accurate. So yes, the scripting stuff. So what do you like to script in? When I did mine, it was all like C# because I was in Unity. I probably wouldn't do the same if I tried to pick it up again. I don't think Unity's the best or like even a good engine anymore. They had a thing a couple years back where they like tried to screw up their pricing model and lost a lot of goodwill from game development communities and stuff. So I don't know if Unity is where I would pick it back up, but Game Boy Studio. There's a Game Boy Studio. There's an engine for like Game Boy games. That's really cool. Ooh. Maybe I do want to pick. Is it so? How accessible is it? Like, I assume I have zero knowledge. Could I pick it up and do something like with a few tutorials, maybe? Or is it something I would have to take like a night class for 3 semesters, earn a certificate, and then I'd be able to, you know what I mean? 1802 in France. That's like, oh geez, 6 o'clock, something. So y'all are okay. 6 hours ahead. That makes sense. I remember when I was working in tax, a lot of times we used 5 hours for European colleagues that we had to reach out to. So after like 12, we didn't reach out to anybody. But yeah, that sounds right. That works. I'm remembering all these little bits and bobs that I've forgotten over the years. Depends on the complexity you want. That's valid. That's fair. If I was gonna pick it up and try and make That's the problem, is I don't really have an idea for what I would want to make. Okay, what about a little simple little platformer called Coffee Run, where you would have a little coffee mug and you run around a stage, you get to the end, and you try and collect donuts and dodge little finger guns, something like that. Like, do you think that would be 6 months for me to pick it up? 2 years, for example, or could that be like, I don't know. If you want to make something really basic, a few days at most. So not that inaccessible for someone to maybe pick up and experiment with, because like old like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Basic before Advanced was like one of my favorite. I played a lot of Game Boy Color games in particular, and a lot of Game Boy Advance actually too. That was my era. Those and Super Nintendo emulation, because we didn't have the consoles anyways. But whatever, doesn't matter. Come after me, Nintendo. You won't. Actually, they probably will. We started Project Unity, start from scratch. The tutorial. Okay, so it comes with a tutorial as well. That's one thing I liked about Unity, but I didn't like that they just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like the tutorialization was good, but I still had to. It didn't actually teach me how to do stuff that I wanted to. I still had to like, which I think is any tutorial. You're still gonna have to Google and Khan Academy, and I guess these days you got to chat GPT it for whatever you don't know, and hope it doesn't hallucinate on you. Graphics and music is funky and limited. I can imagine that, but by design, right? Because it's the like Game Boy aesthetic. So, which is, I love that aesthetic. Okay. It's in 4. Sprites are at 8x8 or 16x16. If it's too big or too detailed, it won't render. It's not. Oh, I see. It's not for the Game Boy aesthetic, but it makes .gb files, so it could be compatible on a Game Boy could run it. For example, you could upload it to a flash cart or something and play it on a Game Boy, but you're limited to by the hardware, the engine, and all that kind of stuff too. And if you're not playing it on the hardware, would that have a consideration if you're playing it on emulated on PC versus original hardware? You can do bigger sprites, but you run into issues easier. I could totally see that. Interesting. That's super cool. I gotta look. You know what? For after stream, it is called Game Boy Studio. Game Boy Studio. Huh. Cool. Well, dang. That you might have just excuse me. You might have just piqued my interest in back into game development, which hasn't been there in like 8 years. Might be something to that. I lost a beat. We lost a beat in the triplet. 1. One. I feel like I'm still losing time. Let me just do the one measure in isolation. That was all kinds of wrong. But I think the first one is sort of in time. The second one we can work out to get in time. When importing sprites, you need the correct hex codes for color. Oh, because is it in like 8-bit, 16-bit? So you have to be like precise with which ones it can render? That's crazy. Did you make your own tile set? Because that's also very impressive. I dabbled a little bit in pixel art and stuff like that, and I was very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. Although I will say my little coffee cup sprite that I used for it, it was kind of cool. And you made all the graphics too. Dude, that's so cool. That's so cool. That was almost there. It was sloppy in the... Okay. Blah, 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 blah. You practice every day. That's the plan. That is the plan. Yeah, and it's one of those things where streaming is a lot of fun. And I stream my practice specifically because it adds in a layer of accountability. Because if I was just in here in my room by myself, I would get distracted. I would not practice well, or I just wouldn't practice at all. If I don't have you wonderful people on the internet to hold me accountable and to let me know when I miss a day, or whatever the case, which is not actually probably that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. But for me, it adds like, okay, I need to do this, even if I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it today. Can I be real with y'all? I was up at 3:30 this morning, nauseous because I ate too much. Yesterday we had fried fish for dinner. I ate too much. I probably, whatever, but I ended up, I puked my guts out last night. I didn't sleep very, very well. That's why practice is only an hour and a half for a reason, and I'm intentionally taking it very easy, thoroughly enjoying this wonderful conversation with you guys, chat. But even on days like today, when we just really do not want to practice, kind of have to. You don't have to. I shouldn't say that. But for me, I'm not like actually sick. I'm not. It's better to do a little bit than to skip outright. So that's the goal is to practice every day, because, and this is from this book, one of my absolute favorites by one of my all-time heroes of the horn, playing the horn well. Thoughts on playing the horn well by Fruidis Revekra. She is wonderful and a delight, and I play on her mouthpiece as well, her signature mouthpiece. Anyways, Fruidis, when talking about like not warming up, but practicing and how much to practice and all this stuff, talks about how your lips don't understand when it's a weekend, or when you're, don't feel like playing, or if you're not motivated, or if you're frustrated, or if you're bored, or whatever the case. Your lips just know what they're doing. So after one day of off, days off, after one day off, you notice. After 2 days off, the people around you, your colleagues, will notice. After 3 days off, the audience will notice. So it's kind of one of those things. And each day off, what I learned in college was that for one day off, you have to practice 2 days in order to get back to where you were. So it's kind of like you're falling behind if you don't. So it's like, it's a whole thing. But I find if I do at least a little bit every day, I have avoided thus far, knock on wood, any sort of major setbacks. So that's been nice. Whew. I'm most proud of the floor tiles and the dirt path. I would imagine that sounds like those are difficult. If you wonder why it has its colors, because it has some color support for it's played on for GBC color or advanced. So it has support for both color and advanced. That's crazy. Game Boy games can have colors, but less detailed than proper Game Boy Color games. Yeah, because they had like it wasn't color, but it was like greenish tint, and I don't know if there were like different shades of something, because it was like, it wasn't purely 1 bit, was it? You're fine. No need to apologize. If I want to, like, take a break from talking and practice, I will do so. But I like reading y'all's messages, and especially about stuff that I don't know about. I'm learning horn, and I'm learning all this other stuff from you guys too. It's a wonderful, it's perfect practice time, Game Boy has different shades of green. Gotcha. You can add colors for if it's played on GBC. Open yellow. Oh, yellow. And sort of the other Pokemons, but less so, because I remember I grew up on Pokemon Red, and I had Red on a Game Boy Color, and the game itself was not, like, things didn't have different colors, but, like, the different towns. Or maybe I'm thinking of Yellow. Lavender Town turned yellow, Pewter turned gray, Cerulean turned blue, etc. And I do remember that it was you could hit B in a different combination, and it would invert the colors or like have it give it a different color palette. And on red that worked. I remember I used to love playing it in the negative mode where it was just all inverted. That one was really fun. That's so cool. Yellow was made with GBC in mind, and it's got more colors but red and blue, but still far from proper GBC. That makes a lot of sense. So it's sort of the in-between generation thing. So it's like whenever they make stuff for PS2 and PS3 before fully phasing out the PS2, you still have to have compatibility and stuff before fully transitioning to the new hardware and capability. I'm picking up what you're putting down, I assume. That's not right. Your sister pranked my other sister? Well, that's fun. Hopefully in a way where everyone is laughing afterwards and not in a way where someone's just like, dude, what the fuck? I love a good prank. A good prank is where everyone ends up happy and smiling at the conclusion, not at the expense of another person. I have a lot of issue with present day internet prank culture because they're not pranks, they're just like being an asshole. But I like good spirited pranks. Till Eulenspiegel style pranks, you know? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Nope. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Little Eulenspiegel, little merry pranks, lustige Streiche. Younger sister called me and said my other sister wanted to talk to me and gave it to her. Other sister just got confused and wondered what I want. Oh, that's fun. That is fun. Just like, hey, they totally wanted to talk to you. No, I didn't. That is a good solid prank. I like that. That didn't seem too bad. That kind of was almost there. A little out of tempo, but oh, my back. Oh my goodness, that was not too bad. Did you know 50% of wind instrument players are really dope? And I'm dope, which means statistics mean nothing to the individual. Any randomly selected from the population wind player has a 50% chance to be dope. The chance that the both of us are dope, which I would say seems to be the case, that is 1 point or 0.5 times 0.5, 0.5 squared, right? So 0.25. Perfectly within the realm of likelihood. I love to ruin jokes with logic. I apologize. I don't mean to. Sometimes I mean to. This time I kind of meant to. But that's because we're all dope. That's the thing. Also, I challenge the underlying assumption that only 50% of wind players are dope. I've met very, very many wind players, and the vast majority of them have been dope. So, you know, the underlying math may be slightly flawed. Or like when you want to know how many questions there would be at trivia, and I wanted Robin to say 100. Ah, yes. Just a slight like, oh shit, and then all of a sudden it's like, ha, you got me. That's a great prank. That is an awesome prank. Thank you, babe. Love you. Thank you, Minute. I appreciate it. Most of them I met kind of blows. Okay, all right. You know what? Shut it down. That was a good one. Oh, I love the puns. It kind of blows. Oh my goodness. All right. I am going to play the intro to Neuling's Bagatelle. Well. I'm speeding it up, I guess. Wonderland. University. Something like that. If I say you blow, is it an insult or a compliment? Almost 100% of the time, insult. I don't know that, like, something blows. It's the exact same as something sucks, which diametrically opposed mean the same thing. Kind of like flammable and inflammable. They both mean the same thing, even though the word should be exactly opposite. Suck and blow both mean you lame. Blow is compliment and suck is insult unless you play the harmonica. Maybe it might be different where you're at, but for me it's definitely over here where I grew up. The way I was raised to use suck and blow out here in the country, in the sticks, was that you don't want to do neither. That's for damn sure. But that's a good point. For a harmonica, you do kind of need both. Also, I've never played the harmonica. I would love to play the harmonica. Oh my god, that's so hard. Yeah, unless you're a ceiling fan, it's probably an insult. Yeah. Even then, ceiling fans don't really do they don't do anything themselves. They just spin. So they kind of don't do either. You do? Hey, you do the harmonica as well. Play Zelda songs on it. That's pretty cool. We just were you the ocarina player? There was an ocarina player as well that we were talking a while back. I forget who that was. Sound like a sad version of the song. It is in fact. Minute, you have a wonderful ear. Because that was Mahler. It's either 1 or 3. I think I'm gonna say 1. But Mahler 1 in my handy dandy book of excerpts is it's literally a minor version of a song we all know, probably, Frere Jacques. It was written. So this is Mahler 1, the third movement. This movement was a painting of a hunter's funeral march, is what it is. So it's a hunter, and he's being carried to his final resting spot in the forest. The ironic part, and the reason that this is sort of like sassy and tongue-in-cheek, and I love this, is because it's he's being carried to his gravesite, to his final resting place, by the very woodland creatures that he previously hunted. So it's kind of like, yeah, sucks to suck, rip bozo, you know. And it's so Mahler went how he knew it as Bruder Martin, excuse me, into minor. So it's low and it's minor and it's dark and brooding, and it's sort of like, it's just really cool. It's a really fun excerpt and super, super low, very difficult. Because it's a slur from the and it's supposed to be like super soft and delicate, and that is a very, very low note. So it might it's cool. I like it because it's an easy to like have in your ear and very, very difficult to play correctly. Some of my favorite excerpts are like that. That was, you do have the ocarina. Yeah, I remember. I'm sort of starting to associate. Debating with myself on if I want to learn sheet music. I mean, I don't know how it is for ocarina. I would recommend it because like it's good to know, and you can always get, you know, do it as much or as little as you need. But having the skill in your toolbox certainly wouldn't hurt. Is sort of my my take on it. I did say slur, which is a term for a legato, unaccented note. I'm going to ruin your joke with logic again. The following is articulated and not slurred. And that's articulated. That's relatively staccato is the term. The following is legato, unarticulated, and slurred is the term for it. Difference being, for a slur, you don't tongue it. Unless you're a trombone, because you can't just do wow, 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 wow. You do actually have to tongue it very, very gently and lightly if you're a trombone player, but that's neither here nor there. You saw a video about BPM in sheet music? Yeah, so like tempo markings? That's pretty cool. Yeah, your ass is going to be very reported. Banned. Oh, you're already banned. Cool. Yeah. Ha. Low stuff is not quite there at the moment. Or the extreme lows are not where they were at the beginning of the day, I should say. Whew. Man, that's tough. It's kind of about how one should go about writing it. Oh, I gotcha. Because you can be overly specific when writing sheet music to an unnatural degree. Agreed. Very much agreed. And it's interesting too, you know, taking that sort of idea and thinking about, for example, I have a collection of Mozart horn concertos. Any horn player will have the 4 horn concertos concert rondo by Mozart. Everyone has this. But not everyone has the version published by Schirmer. And there's a reason for that, is because Schirmer is notorious for adding interpretation to the original works. So for example, like there's where is a good, oh, here. So this is the first movement of Mozart 2. It's a really fun line. Bum 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 ba da 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 dum ba da 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 dum ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da dum. It's really fun. It's this one, this line here. And so what it tells you to do, bum bum, in this bar, bum bum ba da ba. It tells you to slur the whole thing. That's what this, and I've crossed it out because that's fucking insane. No one does that ever. And Mozart in particular, Mozart is not about interpretation. Mozart is about playing it well, focusing your cameras. Very important to focus your cameras always. Thank you. Playing it well and technically precise, but not adding. You don't want to add. You don't. It's Mozart is Mozart. The very, very definition of keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink. Don't overwrite. Schirmer, don't overwrite for Mozart because it is wrong. Don't add interpretation where there is none. You just play it. You know, that's, I saw a version of Mozart, either 2 or 4. It was a concerto of Mozart 4, and I had to turn it off in the middle of the second movement because it was just, they were doing way too much that was not in the music. And it's just like, obviously the player was phenomenal, and they were, you know, far and away miles better than I will ever be at the horn. Not even discussing that, but the manner of interpretation was just not. You don't do that for Mozart. You can do that for other things, but not Mozart. It was just so bad to my ear. So yes, you can definitely overwrite, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Schirmer versions are overwritten for Mozart in particular. So I was trying to get at. You can, sheet music almost anything, which goes into some weird territory. One sheeter had a decimal point. They were telling you to go at like 115.3 beats per minute. Are you insane? That's so funny and so stupid. Like the surviving works, right? Like works that actually stand the test of time. They will sometimes give you tempo markings, but they give you a range. And that's the, allegro moderato. Allegro moderato for the first for Franz Strauss's Horn Concerto. It can be anything. I play it at about 120, roughly, but you can take it a little faster, a little slower. There's a range where allegro moderato is completely, valid between 108 and 132, for example. Maybe even less because it's more moderato, so maybe closer to 108 than 120, but like that's the beauty of music. It's an interesting point, but like, yeah, interesting, but I would be kind of pissed off as a musician because you can never play it that way. And if the composer wants it done that way specifically, you're never going to be able to do it because I can't even on my metronome on my computer. Can I do 88.5? I cannot do decimals. No one can fucking do decimals in their tempo markings. So why would you give your musicians an impossible direction? You know what I mean? If you're going to describe the piece exactly, you need the decimal. So the question is, what is sheet music and who is it for? Analyzing or the performer? I agree with you. So here's my take on that, though, is if you're writing a piece of music as a piece of sheet music, my inherent underlying assumption is that you want it to be performed. Because a piece of music just written here is fine, but it's not music until it's performed. Otherwise, it's a book versus a story. A book is a collection of words. A story is something that you have then read, had your internal narrative, and you've built a world in for me anyways, I build a movie in my head based on what I'm reading. That then becomes the work of art from what was written. And so if what you write is inherently not performable, it's an impossible direction to give someone a decimal in your tempo. That will never happen. Like then why if it's writing the piece of music for the sake of writing a piece of music, fine, that's great. But if you want it to be performed, you can't do shit like that. You can't give horns, crazy unplayable things because sure, maybe you can put it into a MIDI something and have the computer play it out. But if you want a person to make music based on what you've written, you know what I mean? But maybe I just have a different take on that, and that's totally fine. Again, we don't have to agree on everything 100%. Like we can have slightly different viewpoints, and that's beautiful. That's music. That's art. That's creativity. Can be used for analysis and greater understanding of a specific piece was the point she was getting at too. Yes, but with MIDI you can write literally impossible pieces to perform. Yes, but then that is a MIDI piece of music, which is a piece of electronic music, totally fine and valid, but that's not, something that written for a human. That is not a piece of music that is intended for a human to perform at that point. So it's a whole other, you're apples and oranges at that point, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking of music as stuff like a human will perform, but it doesn't have to be, and that's totally valid. But for my default setting, if I saw a decimal point in a tempo marking, I'd be like, who the fuck is this clown? They don't know anything. They don't know how to write for humans. That's what I'm saying. I just find that use of sheet music kind of interesting, and it is by definition it's interesting. I am interested. I disagree with it, with the use of it, but it is interesting. It is interesting, and it's making me think about like, okay, well, is there a from a musician standpoint? If I was to perform a piece, there is no shot, and also because tempo is never static. You know, unless it's electronic music. Tempo, even by the best rhythm keepers, if you got a metronome in your ear, you will never be 100% on time. You will lose a little, gain a little here and there, and you'll, you know, average out to the right whatever. But you cannot be that rigid in your timekeeping, even if you wanted to. Like the beauty of artistic expression is to take some liberties with tempo, speed up, slow down, make it interesting, make it not monotone, make it dynamic. You know, loud and soft, fast and slow, the contrasts, legato and staccato, having contrasting styles. There's a good Kling etude as well that is very good about this. Oh, no, actually, something that we can actually sort of play, because I don't think I've been doing that particular Kling etude that I have in my head, but Morceau de Concert, you know, the opening of it. You know, and it's a march, like it's very, you know, staccatoed, it's separated, it's accented, it's loud. The second variation on it, you know, it becomes and it's soft and it's legato, and I didn't play it well, but it's supposed to be, it's contrasting, not tempo here, but you know, having speed ups and slow downs throughout, it just makes the piece more aurally interesting for the listener. So that's the whole rant and diatribe, and it doesn't actually matter at the end of the day, because as you say, it's interesting and it's unusual. But practically speaking, for me, I would be pissed off if I saw that on a piece of music that I was trying to perform. That's all. Yeah, blah blah blah. Okay. Morceau de Concert is a little weird. I don't know that I care to do that one all that much today. Want to hear something cool? Are you saying that you want to hear something cool, or are you asking if I want to hear something cool? In either case, I would say yes. Yes, I would say. What can I play that would be kind of cool? Ooh, here we go. Yeah. It's really pretty. It's Nocturno by Franz Strauss. It's a lyrical piece. And I feel like almost 2 hours into practice, it's probably good for my chops to do something that's not super strenuous. Listen to Cloud 8.9 by Pineapple Express. I saw that film. I enjoyed that film. It's Cloud 8.9. Let me see. By Pineapple Express. There it is. All right. It is queued up, and I will check it out after stream. I appreciate the recommendation there, Suki. Okay. Kind of want to try to make a fusion of sheet and tabs. In a fusion in what way? So would you be on music like lines? But that's kind of already tab, because some tabs, so tabs on the lines with the strings, but then with rhythm markings. Because I've seen some that do that. What do you think about pop music? It's very song specific. I like some songs, I don't like some other songs. Some artists I don't particularly care for, but you know, they have some songs that I enjoy. I don't listen to a lot of pop music. Um so I don't really have a ton of exposure, but I try to avoid writing off stuff wholesale, you know? Like I don't want to say like, "Oh, I don't like rap," or "I don't like country music," or "I don't like pop," or "I don't like, whatever." Because there are some songs that I do enjoy from all genres, and I think that's true for anyone, regardless of whether they say that they do or they don't. But anyways, it's not my favorite genre. Pop top 40 stuff is not my favorite. Um, I would definitely be more of a punk rock kind of guy. Alternative, I do like. Folky, acoustic, indie stuff is really fun. But basically, anything just sounds, it's got a good melody, I can hum along or whistle to or sing along or something like that. I tend to enjoy, regardless of too much about genre. Some things will grate my ear, but it's kind of specific. Develop your own system there. So you would need to have pitch then and rhythm and time and stuff on that. And I think you could, because you could just, instead of like the note head on a string or whatever, you would just put the number and then have like flags and do them as rhythmically accurate. Sure, that surely would work, right? Pop is the best. If that is your truth, I love that for you. I would disagree for my ear personally, but like I say, we don't have to agree on everything. And that's cool. And also, I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic, so it's like, oh my god. Led Zeppelin. You know, I like 70s sort of classic rock, heavy metal, hair metal of the time. Led Zeppelin's one I don't think I've listened to very much. Um, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I know some of the big hits, but I don't know much of them. I don't dislike them. I just haven't heard very much. I'm much more of a Boston head, Kansas. you know, all the geographical Chicago, very much so. That's actually not a joke. I do really enjoy all three of those groups. Trying to think what's another geographic named classic rock band that I enjoy. Rush, fucking love Rush, obviously. Who doesn't? I like how I find it more appealing to make my own system than reading sheets. But I generally dislike doing anything the straight way. That makes sense. That does. So you know, you just got to forge your own path, and that's I admire that. The one thing I would caution though is sometimes it is more detrimental to try and reinvent the wheel. Like sometimes things are, you know, a certain way for a reason, but there's no reason that you couldn't validate that, you know, in your own experience and try it some way. And if it doesn't work, then, you know, maybe there's, but yeah, you march to the beat of your own drum, my friend. That is beautiful. Japanese pop. J-pop out here. Holy moly. I thought we were talking, in my mind, I'm thinking like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande and The Weeknd. I don't know if they're still doing stuff, but like that kind of stuff, I'm like, very, very hit or miss. More miss than hit for me, but yeah. For all the problems in that passage, the ending to that was probably the best I've ever done. From this part. Automatically not that time, but like this one, it was the one before it actually worked. And usually what I struggle with is after playing super high, like the written A flat, it's harder for me to come down into the mid-low register. For example, the written E flat to D natural. From to especially in one phrase, it was very hard for my embouchure to be able to do that. But not today. That feels good. Okay, I'm gonna do this one again though. And that one was not as good. Yo, Minute. Thanks for hanging out, friend. See you later. The bad thing is I'm also stubborn, so that bites me at points. Yeah. And I feel you on that. I am also very stubborn to a fault, but like about specific, like certain things. Some things I'm like, I don't give a shit. Otherwise, it's like, for some reason, I'm fixated and stuck. Like, this is the way it has to be. It can't, why are we trying to, like, this is, and that bites me as well. More miss. I'm a miss Puffles. Oh, shit. Oh, what? I'm about to end this man's whole career. Oh, goodness. Anyway, the most recent version that I played of this, I did want to mention, felt better from a breath standpoint. I took my breaths where I wanted them to. The notes were not quite there, but in terms of the phrasing in the direction of the line, the passage, I wanted all to build up to the big moment here. Building up to the high note. So what I'm doing there, Franz Strauss, can we just say Franz Strauss, he was either a smoker himself, smoked like a chimney, or wrote for someone who smoked like a chimney, because the man literally has breath marks every second bar. So half of them you're taking out, shutting down wholesale, and it's about finding which ones work for how you want the phrase to go. So it's like, anyways. And that one might have been the best of all worlds. That one might have been a good one. Holy cow, that felt nice. Hell yeah. Honestly, that kind of... As we hit practice! Yes! We've had another successful day, chat. It was looking like it wasn't going to be. For a minute, we were into... Actually, we made practice a half an hour ago. What the hell am I even talking about? This is the thing, you guys. I'm tired. I have not been sleeping super well. I have a headache that's still present from last night. Oh, man. And I am running on fumes today, so we're not going to go too much longer than this, probably. But... Oh my god. I have to burp. I am so burpy. Whew! Want to hear my your situation ideas? I would. I would. What ideas have you got, my friend? Spill! Okay. I think I like that. Yeah, that kind of works. Okay, so you use tabs to see what note to play. Okay, I'm with you so far. Color-coded fingering for if I want to use some specific techniques like slurring or that. You do to give notes an extra oomph. So an accent, for example, to put stress on one particular note. Okay. Then use a time signature, tempo, and the different shapes of notes to see if it's whole notes. Okay, I'm with you so far. So far it's tabs to indicate the note. You've got colors for articulation and flags, normal, quavers, semiquavers for duration of notes. I'm with you. And the notes are on a single line. And this is not for guitar. So this is now... Is this for, sorry, ocarina? Is this for... harmonica. Ooh, harmonica, that's what the one. For ocarina. Okay. Interesting. Because I was thinking guitar, and I'm like, that's not going to work. How are you going to do the different strings? But yeah, for that could be it. So how do you indicate the notes in a tab format then? Because guitar, you put a number and that's like the fret for the string. What is that? What do you do for ocarina? I'm interested. Color coding is very interesting. Honestly, chat. Huh? That was almost there. Even the low stuff, even the soft stuff, even the I don't know, man. Ooh, my back is stiff, but that felt good. That was a good rendition of Nocturno. Oh, I want to keep playing now because I'm excited, but I also kind of feel like that's a good one to end practice on. Oh, we're not gonna end just yet. But that was a damn. Punch my microphone. I draw what holes to cover. Okay. Okay. So I draw out fingering to see what notes to play. If I draw the notes on a single line, it won't tell what note it is, but that I get from the tabs. On a single line, it won't tell. Right. Yes. Yeah. So my question is like, so a note being on a line or a number on a tab, that's like easy to see as you're seeing it. Are the because you're on a 8-hole, right? 6 or 8 holes. Can you accurately quickly, I guess, is how quickly can you parse what has been written down? And 10-hole, that's Jesus Christ. Holy moly. Interesting. I want to see, do you have any written out in this notation? Because I would love to see what you mean by this and get a sort of an example of what, because I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. I would just love to see if how in practice it looks, because that's like very interesting. Very interesting. Far more interesting, I think, than decimals in your tempo markings. This is because if it works, that's the thing. Is if it works and you can read it and you know what it's supposed to say and how the music's supposed to go, like that's the point of writing music, you know? Still brainstorming. Gotcha. Perfect. I was curious at what stage you were at it there. If it was like fully fleshed out and like you're ready to, you know, write symphonies, ocarina concertos in this notation, that would be fucking cool, you know? It's still fucking cool, for the record. I want to know once you get it past brainstorming. I want to keep tabs on this. My chops are almost giving up on me. Not quite yet. But man, and for this part, I don't know why the fingerings are giving me such a hard time. Trying to fix the issues I have with either system. I got you. And so now it's the weird Frankenstein thing. I got but your new system of notation is not quite fully realized, fleshed out, because the indication for what notes to play on 10 holes is like I don't know. I would find that a bit maybe cramped to see all in once, unless you can. Here's what you could. Well, but there's so many different combinations. I was thinking like like you've got 10, like each one corresponding to like a different symbol. So like that would mean this combination, right? But a triangle could mean this, and a square is this, and then a circle is like, you know, something else. You know what I mean? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm thinking about this too hard. Oh, this sounds like me. That was actually almost so close. Ugh. That was a very messy and sloppy first couple of phrases of Neuling's Bagatelle. Holy cow. Trying to do, yeah, your weird hybrid. I love that you're like experimenting and brainstorming, figuring out like this other alternative notation that is presumably, you know, works better for your brain. That's really cool. For me, I just accept sheet music like at face value, and I'm like, okay, this is good for me. But like, I am shocked and in awe of the way that your brain is doing this. That's really cool. For Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, yeah, that'd be so cool. And then we can figure out, or I'll be able to see, because that'll have rhythm, that'll have time, that'll have tempo, that'll have different notes, that'll have everything the body needs. There you go. What I dislike about sheet is that I can't read, you know, what note it is quickly. So is that because you have not been ever like taught which notes are which, or never took the time to like try, or is it like a because in my experience, and I'll just bring this up real quick, like that's one of the least difficult things for me once I learned like what notes are what and even how to find the notes. Also, then you need to know, right, that's a C, so how do you play C on the ocarina? That's true, and that's kind of where learning your instrument. So it's kind of, so how I learned was, how did I learn? I was given a horn, and it was hot cross buns was the first thing I learned how to play. It was like, so it's A, G, F. And I was told A is first and second with the thumb trigger, but it doesn't have to be. G is open, F is 1. And from there it was like, that's those. So now for this one, I know at the beginning of Neuling's Bagatelle, for example, G, C, A, G, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. And that's the other thing, going between treble and bass clefs. That's what tells you what notes are what. So like the treble clef here is called the G clef, right? Just for anyone who's never known this, but the G clef tells you what notes are what. This curls around the line of G. So this note, this line here on the clef is a G. And from there, you can build out the rest of them. So G, that's C, A, G, E, C, etc., etc. A, D, B flat, A, F, D, and so on and so forth. The bass clef, it tells you where the F is. It's an F clef. So this line where these two dots are at, that is an F in bass clef. So this line corresponds to this one that's just below this. So this is an F on this line here, and then this just below the line, this note in bass clef is an F. It's a D in treble clef. But anyways, so that's how you can tell what notes are what based on the clefs. There's also alto clefs and stuff like that. But yeah, and again, it might not be an instance where, things are sort of done a certain way for reasons, but maybe it can still be improved upon. Maybe not. You also have percussion clefs, for example, which are just two straight lines like this. It looks like a pause on a remote control for a TV. And that tells you that these are not notes, these are rhythms, and so you've got different symbols. Actually, you know what? Have you ever seen percussion written out? That might sort of give you some ideas, because it's I believe on one line. It has rhythms, and you've got different symbols for what you're hitting. So cymbals, snare drums, bass drums, tom-toms, bongos, wood blocks, hi-hats, triangles. They're all going to have different symbol notations. That might be percussion. Just look up like percussion clef and sheet music. So I googled percussion clef, CLEF, and this is what it. Let's bring it up on screen real quick. So it's brought this stuff up. So this is what I'm thinking of. So you've got, I guess it's not just on one line. This is the kick drum is all on one line is what I was thinking of. But this is like tom-tom, snare, tom-tom, snare, and then these are cymbals up here. So like the hi-hat. So it's telling you it's maybe a little bit closer, perhaps, to what you had been thinking about. Not exactly, but it might give you some inspiration, perhaps, because that's all purely rhythmic. It has no notes, because percussion, right? So maybe there's something there. Man. Yeah, I think we're probably about done with practice today. I gotta go and try and maybe have some lunch. Not going to be a super big lunch, but I gotta get some food in my belly, I think. And as we warm down, we're going to end with chromatics down, which is a low register warm down sort of exercise, focusing on embouchure, airflow, all that good stuff, massaging your face at the end of practice. All right. There's the chromatics down. Nice little bit of warming down. And then I like to do one that's more of an arpeggio, and then with a bend. Woo! Woo-wee! That is some low shit. I love doing those bends down low, though. It's been really great for my low register. But that, I think, is all she wrote on a day we didn't even want to get an hour and a half. Whew. Barely. We ended up getting 2.5. That's a good day of practice. Oh, my back. I tell you what. Whippy guy, dude! Christmas is in 7 days. I'm about to get my euphonium. Hell yes! We're so excited. 7 days. 7 days. Where I'm at, it's only 5. Good to see you, friend. I'm so excited for your euphonium. That's so awesome, dude. Oh, goodness. I regret to say you did catch us at the end of practice, so we're going to be... we're done for the day. And I'm tired. But I appreciate you coming by, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for making practice so much fun, as always. Oh, goodness. And I will see y'all tomorrow or next time, whenever. We'll see y'all later. Have a great rest of your weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is for you. And we'll see y'all later. Bye, everybody. Bye.